Now, I've never really been a fan of the Hunger Games franchise, even though I've seen all of them. But this new trailer definitely got me interested. All right, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about the trailer for the new Hunger Games movie, Sunrise on the Reaping. Now, this brings back director Francis Lawrence, and the cast is absolutely stacked. And I'm going to have to, reference my notes with this because there's just so many names that are either huge or notable, especially to me. So we got Ralph Fiennes, Elle Fanning, Glenn Close, Kieran Culkin, Maya Hawke, Jesse Plemons, and Joseph Zada, who is going to be playing the young version of Haymitch Abernathy. I've never heard of Joseph Zada before this trailer, but he does have an all-star cast to kind of really help carry this movie forward. And one of the things, there's two things that I loved. One of them I just mentioned. It's an amazing, amazing cast. Elle Fanning is playing the young version of Effie, who was the kind of like the stylist, publicist for Katniss Everdeen in the original. And then Ralph Fiennes playing a more grizzled-looking President Snow. And so everything seems to be lining up really, really well. But I think the thing that stuck out to me most is just the look of this movie. It is so big. The spectacle looks appropriate for what I always felt Hunger Games should be. The first Hunger Games, I guess, tried to capture this grandness of the Hunger Games as a spectacle itself, but it always kind of seemed more like a red carpet Met Gala type of situation, and it just didn't really hook me. It was kind of interesting to think about, but it wasn't something that kind of made my jaw drop, as opposed to what this looks like. I mean, it looks like almost a Super Bowl, NASCAR, Daytona 500, Olympic style sporting event. And that's kind of, as I was, reading the books in the beginning, that's kind of what I've always envisioned it to be. But I also kind of understand in a way why they didn't do that with the original franchise. It was a brand new kind of endeavor. They were going to pump a good amount of money into it, but I also don't think they knew really yet how big to make it. But I think they know now, and they definitely shown that they know now. So it looks has that great visual aspect of it that is really interesting to me. That also has these really big ideas and themes that the entire narrative of the Hunger Games universe is trying to explore. At the same time, it still feels like they can do something of a personal story with Haymitch's narrative. And then again, the one thing that does bother me a little bit, but this is not exclusive to Sunrise on the Reaping. This is my feeling of basically all prequels to begin with, is that there's no story really to unfold in a way that, immerses you, because you know how it's going to end, no matter what. Whether it's the Star Wars prequels, whether it is, even that prequel aspect of The Godfather Part 2, you know what's going to happen. Haymitch is going to win because he's the one that ends up mentoring Katniss and Peeta from, the same district that he is from. So he lives. He's traumatized by it all. In the book, he's balding and fat, and they kind of change that up a little bit with the movie, but Woody Harrelson still pulls it off because he's Woody Harrelson. But it's that part of it seems a little bit hollow to me. Like even in the trailer, they talk about how the Hunger Games like a killing machine, but machines, still break, and there's talk of revolution at some point. But in the end, none of that is really going to happen. Now, maybe what could happen in the movie is that you can see where the seeds of revolution are sown, and then, with the original franchise and Katniss, it actually comes to fruition. But aside from, like I've said over and over again, the spectacle and the epic quality of the world and of the games, I don't really see how it's going to be a fully fleshed out and cathartic or satisfying personal story from Haymitch's perspective. I'm still gonna watch it because, like I said, it looks great. It's got an amazing cast, and I love that they brought Francis Lawrence back to direct it. I mean, he did Catching Fire and Mockingjay 1 and 2, and I'm pretty sure he did The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes as well. So they're kind of continuing that director's voice. And I love the fact that now they can really go big with what he can do, because I think when he did Catching Fire, I think that might have been maybe his only second movie that he did after Constantine. And so I'm not really sure they knew what he can do with a big franchise, but now they know, and it looks like they're, giving him the tools, money to actually, make this grand vision come to life. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.